I had to rewrite this entire thing in one day because the first script is way too long, and this is due on the 20th and it is currently the 18th of recording this. So if suffering is what gives the school system joy, then suffering it will get. So let's get into the lore and story of Destiny in a summarized format. Destiny is an MMORPG FPS and dating sim where you are one of a million other chosen ones with the power of the light, and you have to protect the last city from the darkness and other alien threats by massacring the literal gods for cool looking guns and nothing else because you could give less of a crap about humanity. But before we get into the main story, we have to dive into the lore. The important stuff starts millions of years ago on Jupiter, but not Jupiter, with these bug aliens that live in society. There's this royal family that falls apart because of Queen Elizabeth, who kills the king because she's the imposter. Her children escape the murder attempt and meet the worm gods, who give these three princesses the ability to control the universe by having them devour their children. These princesses would transform into hive gods and kill their mother and kill more because their worm feeds on death. These gods transform one more time and are known as Tricky Bitchy, Soldier Waifu, and Meme Stealer the Taken King. Oryx then kills his sisters and their gods, then resurrects his sisters. They all have their own children, and Savathun, now the troll god, messes with everyone and then dips into a black hole. Oryx's other sister parts ways as well. A few hundred years later, there is this magic ball god that came in contact with a race called the Elixni and gives them a golden age until it leaves because it is scared of the darkness and their civilization falls apart. Fast forward to 2014, the best point in humanity, and the traveler lands on Mars, so America, Russia, and China each send an astronaut to kill it or something. But they end up finding that the traveler is making it rain on Mars like a fake gangster pretending to be rich. Humanity likes big white balls, and then they allow the traveler to terraform every habitable moon and planet, putting humanity in a golden age until the darkness arrives and ends the world. The traveler uses the last of its power to make the ghost to resurrect people like Michael Jackson to protect humanity from the arriving alien forces and are also called guardians. But like Michael Jackson, they abuse their power and create a communist feudal system. It is now the Dark Age, which is like the 1100s and 1700s, but with guns, aliens, and space magic. Sick and tired of the warlords, some guardians create the Iron Lord group to stop them, but were wiped out because they angered a Golden Age super AI called Rasputin by trying to use Elon Musk technology. Only two Iron Lords survived, and they are Lord Reaper and Lady Aphrodite. After a while, humanity and the Guardians decided to build a giant city under their dead god, and so they did, almost having it fall apart due to infighting and a siege by the Elixni, who want revenge because humanity is now the favorite child. But the city held strong, and then the Guardians tried to take back the moon, but failed because the Hive decided to literally burrow like ants into the moon, and their god Crota, who is the son of the other god Oryx, killed everyone and then went to sleep. So the Guardians decided to recover other planets and moons only to see them inhabited by either the Elixni, now called the Fallen, the Vex, which are conscious milk substances in robot bodies, and Cabal, which are space turtles. This is where you come into the story when Peter Dinklage resurrects you in the USSR and tells you that you have to get to the last city, so you steal a spaceship and arrive in the tower to get a new ship. You are then tasked to kill the Fallen's god, so you do that, depleting them of their literal life source because you are the good guy. Then you are tasked to reawaken the super AI Rasputin for reasons, and then head to the moon. Once you arrive, you stop the Hive from sucking the light out of the Traveler's Shard, so you kill everything in sight and return the flesh of your god back to your god, and then kill Shrek on the way out. A robot lady we call the Exo Stranger then calls you and tells you that she wants to meet up on Venus. So being the simp that you are, you go to Venus and commit robot genocide. Then the Exo Stranger shows up and she tells you that the Vex are super bad guy robots and that you need to kill their god. So you go to the Awoken, which are magic blue people, and their queen helps you out with finding the Black Garden. So you go back to Venus, kill a big robot, and steal his eye. Then you travel to Mars. The Black Garden gates open and you enter the place outside of time and kill the Black Heart, you racist. The city celebrates, but your work ain't over yet because the thirst for loot is unquenchable, and so you and 5 other chosen ones enter the Vault of Glass to kill the literal time god for a chance at sweet, sweet loot, but you don't, so you try again next week. So a month later, that Crota guy on the moon reawakens and wants to do another genocide, so a three-eyed woman comes to the tower and tells you that Crota is bad, and he killed her friends. So you go and stop all the satanic rituals happening in Russia and kill the soul of Crota on the moon before you and 5 other chosen ones jump into the moon's butthole and enter Crota's ascendant realm, where you or a teammate slaps him to death with a toothpick. He screams so loud that Oryx heard him from across the cosmos and has now arrived to slap you, and also takes the rings of Saturn hostage. He also kills a whole bunch of blue people because Marasov wanted to be the only monarch, forgetting that the Queen of England still exists. So you go to Phobos to see what's up and discover that Oryx has been snatching other bad guys out of existence and turning them into Taken, which are cooler and more annoying versions of other enemy races. You return home and tell the Vanguard about Oryx's arrival, and you are tasked to enter his Paradox space castle. You then steal Eris's ship and then blow it up, because how else are you supposed to enter the king's castle? You then find a portal into Oryx's part of the castle, but you aren't cool enough to enter, so you go and interrupt Crota's funeral and steal his smelly god smell and then enter Oryx's throne room. He slaps you a couple times with his sword, but you are cooler because you use guns and defeat him. You think he's gonna die, but then he takes himself and laughs in your face while doing it, and then disappears into his ascended realm. So you and 5 other chosen ones enter his ascendant realm part of the ship and kill Pope Francis, Shrek again, and Oryx's 2 daughters before, holy crap, he's a literal titan. Not that one. These ones. Clearly overcompensating for his lack of sword, he just kinda sits there and then you shoot his heart and then he dies. While you live happily ever after, you are then interrupted by Gary, who cages your god and then steals your powers, then Sparkle kits you off his spaceship and you almost die, but you don't, so you flee the city and get your powers back because rushed plot. You then get the Vanguard together because they also fled. Once they're together again, you go to Gull's Death Star ship thing and disable it before Gull goes on a Stalin rampage. Once that's done, you go into Gull's ship and discover that he is now a wizard, but your space magic and basic gun skill outmatches him, so he dies. But wait, he's not done, because he turns into a light god, to which the Traveler wakes up and beams Gull to death. You are then invited to see the Emperor of the Cabal, Callus, and you play in his game show about murdering violent infants, things that will upset PETA, and a hole in the wall. Final encounter is with Callus himself, but also not, because it's just a robot in his likeness. He tells you about a cooler, more epic power heading your way and then shows you a room full of other robot clones. This is when everything turns around, because back in the Taken War, Oryx took a wish dragon named Riven. Once you showed Oryx who's boss, Riven regained some of her free will. Riven then semi-grants a wish to Oryx's sister before corrupting the awoken queen's brother Prince Aldrin. You and Nathan Fillion go to stop the prison break, but Cade dies and everyone is sad because the funny guy is dead. So you track down the Barons to the Tangled Shore and go on a pirate western revenge plot and kill all the Scorn leaders. While you were doing that, Prince Aldrin touches the Shard of the Traveler without consent. Aldrin is just trying to bring back his sister, but accidentally summons a meatball that has a vor fetish, so you kill it, it spits out Prince Aldrin, and then you kill him because revenge. You then enter the Awoken homeland, the Dreaming City, and speak to the real queen who died in the Taken War. She's disappointed in you killing her brother, but she wants you to kill Riven, who caused his madness. So you go into Riven's lair and kill her, and steal her heart for containment because Riven has space COVID. But in killing Riven, we accidentally make a wish for the 1,000 Voices fusion rifle, and she fully grants Savathun's wish, which is to put the entire Dreaming City into a 3-week cycle of enemies stealing treasure and us stealing it back. A few more things happen throughout the year, but we don't care about those, so let's get into Shadowkeep. Eris is wanting to cope with her PTSD, but finds one of the Dorito ships in the moon, and the Hive built a Scarlet Keep around it. So we go siege the Scarlet Keep and find the pyramid ourselves to find out that it can manifest nightmares like old enemies and homework. So you defeat them one by one and then enter the pyramid, to which it gives you a cool ball and tells you the darkness is cool and it will not hurt you. Beyond Light starts with Varix fleeing from Aramis after stealing a shard of ice power and calls for help. You hear this distress signal and help Varix. Once you save him, he tells you that his ex-friend Aramis has darkness powers. You wanting cool ice powers too, get them on your own, and then you go defeat all the generals before fighting Aramis. She takes away your powers, but through the power of believing in yourself, you gain back all your powers, and then she freezes herself. a lot more things happen between each major story, which also interconnect with each other, but unfortunately we are unable to get into that, although I would like to. If you want more Destiny stuff, like story-wise, then go to My Name is Bife, where he reads all the lore, so I didn't have to, even though I kind of know it all by heart. Anyway, sorry for the crudeness, Miss Slow. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah.